In these post-corona times, business schools are really struggling with leadership sustainability. What are they going to do with these archaic leadership-based models of the past in the future? I'm not talking to an amazing woman, Yolanda Sing, who's identified the fact that horses who have had centuries to truly understand what it means to overcome adversity and the lessons they can teach executives of tomorrow is profound. Yolanda Sing, thank you so much for joining me on scottcundill.com.
Thank you, Scott. Nice to be here.
Yolanda, tell us about what got you started in your business and the kind of need that you're fulfilling. What drives you? What's your passion?
I didn't grow up with horses. It wasn't part of my life story at all. And when I was in Dubai, a friend of mine said to me one day, come with me to the stables. And I said, no, I'm not horsey, I'm not going. Eventually I went, and that was one of the profound days of my life, because the more and more I got engaged with these animals, the more I realized how authentic mirror they are of who we are and the energy we put out there. And I just knew that they can help organizations to become more healthier, because I've never seen a healthy boardroom. I've never seen authentic behavior there. I saw a lot of political behavior, saw a lot of backstabbing. I just saw very dysfunctional behavior. And when I was around these amazing animals, I could just breathe and I could just be myself. And it's something I could never felt in corporate life.
Wow, it's a beautiful story. Now, tell us about the work that you're doing. Now, start off with the work you're doing with business schools. So you're doing some work with Duke University and some of the others. Tell us about that.
I think business schools are always looking for something that's fresh and something that's very different. I think they've also realized that you can put people through behind a classroom setting, and people you hide behind the facades. It's not hitting here. And if you're not able to cause a disruption in people's thinking, it's been proven with neuroscience, people can't form a new neural path. And when a new neural path is not formed, we can't think differently. And if we don't think differently, we don't behave differently. And if we don't behave differently, we're having the same results in our life. So one of the reasons why a lot of the theoretical interventions doesn't really work, because it doesn't create that disruption. The work with the horses definitely created disruption, because people are out of their comfort zone. People are skeptical. People are exposed to something that they've never been exposed before. And on top of it, the message is raw, it's honest, and it's simple.
Which business schools have you worked with?
I've done quite a bit of work with Stellenbosch Business School. I've worked with Gibbs, and I've done, my big client is Duke Corporate Education. I've done a lot of work with it.
That's great. Okay, now, here's the big question. Tell us about the pain point. What is keeping these business school leaders awake at night? What is their primary concern?
Before Corona, it was all about how we're going to change our culture, because it's leadership development, but it's also culture transformation. So how are we going to develop our leaders so that they can install a better culture so that we can have better business results. I think post-Corona, the landscape has changed, and it's all about sustainability, and it's all about how we're going to transform ourselves. Because if you live in this world where you think, I'm just going to go back to work and I'm just going to work from home, you live in a dream world, because the landscape is completely different. And the reason why the horses are so fresh now is because for the first time, Scott, our survival are being challenged with this virus. Never before have our survival been challenged. Horses' survival have been challenged for many, 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 many years. So they have been on understanding sustainability and understanding survival much longer than us. So my message, I sort of feel, Scott, that I was years before my time. And I feel that the readiness for people to accept my message is maybe only right now, because our survival is at stake.
Very interesting point. Very, very interesting point. Can you talk me through some of the other pain points and specifically who you're dealing with? So who at the business school, who makes those decisions? What type of job title?
It's normally the program managers. So business schools, how they normally work, they've got program managers. The program managers manage their clients, and it's normally the program managers, because they then put together a program. My workshop is never the only thing. It's always part of a bigger thing. So it's never, so it's very important that my work must then be integrated with the rest of the story of the narrative that we are dealing with according to the client's expectation. So it's normally the program manager.
Tell us about how you are able to take the horses into the virtual world and give that same result of leadership training.
I do it on Zoom. I've got obviously my videos. I use all the virtual tools. So I literally put my GoPro on, went into my horses, start filming, and with humbleness, I'm telling you, the videos are very good because people are there with me. They're walking with me. They feel the ground under their feet. They feel the smell of the horses. They feel 400 kilograms ahead of them. And they feel the horse doesn't want to move their feet. And that is sometimes how we deal with change. We need to change the organization around and we're bumping our head. If I must answer it for you in one sentence, I honestly was blessed that I could see the opportunity to take a real life experience and make it virtual to such an extent that although people are sitting behind their computer, they forget about it. And they're there, and it's about the face in the mirror, and it's about how am I showing up, and it's about how am I going to change and be sustainable in this new world.
Wow. Do you talk through it? I mean, do you give them coaching lessons, how horses manage leadership, how they handle stress, how they deal with the paddock? Do you teach them, are there lessons around the horses, or is it just purely virtual walking through them?
No. It's a whole experience. It's a whole experience. So we give context. I'll give a little bit of context. Then we go to the video and then we unpack it with them. And so it's not just a case if you click on a link and you watch a video. I will never do that because that is just skimming the cat. I like to do deep work. I don't like to do very superficial work. So at the end of this whole experience of we give the context. We then watch the video, and then it's never about the horse, never ever, Scott. It's always about us and our issues. It's about our fear. It's about our uncertainty. It's about we mourning the loss of the old world.
Give us a few more other lessons you can learn from working with horses from a leadership perspective.
Transformational leadership. Do you have the future fit skills to transform your organization? Creating emotional safety. The dominant mare, the female horse, is a leader of the pack, not the stallion, not the male horse. And she gets a position of leadership by how she leads her herd to safety. So I used that analogy and I said, well, we're not horses and we don't live in a paddock, but what is it that we can learn? And then I pulled it through and I said, because we're not horses and because we not live in a paddock, our role as leaders is to create emotional safety for our people. It's incredibly important for horses to feel where they belong in the herd, because if they don't know where they run into each other. And when they run into each other, the lion gets in, and when the lion gets in, he can potentially eat the whole herd. In the corporate world, leadership is by appointment, and 9 out of 10 times it is driven by political behavior. And in the paddock, there is no political behavior. Your title is not going to move the horse's feet. You might have the most fanciest title, and when you come next to the horse and you don't create safety for that animal, he will just turn his back on you, which is a sign of disrespect.